Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hey, Lasheen, good evening. You're the first person on, so that means you win a car. Hey, Ann, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Nicole, good evening. Hello. Sheila, hello, Sheila. Happy Friday. Tracy, hello. Cynthia, hello. Edna, hello. Hey, thank you, Ed. Set it straight right now. Gloria, hello. Janet, hello. Hey, brother Brian Dawsey, thank you so much. Hey, Laura, all of you, thank you. Gina, Teresa, Juanita, thank you. Angie from the DMV, thank you. Glad to have you on as well. Kim, hey, Faith, Lydia, thank you for joining us. Shauna, hello. Thank you so much for joining us as well. Becky! Hey, Becky, we need to talk. I hadn't talked to you in a while. Becky, we need to talk. So we need to connect. Check, see how you're doing. Felicia, good to see you as well. Um, hey, T. Cheryl, thank you. God bless you too. Joan, good evening to you. Uh, Yolanda, hello. And Lydia, Shauna. Hey, Miss Gowai, good to see you. Agenda Latina, como está? Yes. Hey, Molly Lieberman, good to see you. Good to see you, Mike. Thank you for joining us. And Vera, Rhonda, hello. Lenora, yes, I am wearing red. I'm gonna tell you about that. Linda, thank you so much for joining us as well. Glad to have you on. And Anna as well. Ed, if you want a toaster oven, I am sure that I have a toaster oven here that I do not use. Probably have never, no, I got one because people got toasters, but I don't think I've ever used it. You could have it. Hey, Miss Flo, thank you. Mardell, thank you for joining us. Latasha, I am doing well. Hey, um, Sheila, thank you. It is date night, and we are so glad that you are here with us as well. Hey, Latavia, good evening to you. Tammy, hello. Trinity, good to see you as well. Thank you for joining us as well. Hey, brother Henry Lee Perry, thank you so much for joining us and coming on this evening as well. Carolyn, hey, Carolyn. Hey, Lita, thank you. Happy date night to you too. And yes, Becky, we need to connect. Miss Mary, go Wyatt, thank you so much. Hey, Dana, thank you for joining us. Michael, good evening to you. Hey, Chris, thank you. Good to see you, Dr. Rustin. Thank you for all you do. We have to get you on the show too. So, Dr. Rustin, when you get a chance, we need to get you on and talk about the great things that you are doing. Aquila, from Savannah, living in Philly. How's that snow working out for you? Yes, I think I'm gonna go outside and walk around with shorts on today. So, uh, hey, Jackie, Regina, thank you for joining us. Um, yes, Elsie Williams, yes, we're dealing with that this week. I'll tell you about that in a little bit. Agnes, thank you for joining us. Hillary, hey, good evening for joining us. Hey, Barbara Dolores, thank you for joining us. Denise, hello. Glad to have you on with us. Ronald, good to see you. Elena, good evening to you. Keisha, hey, Keisha, and good evening to Kenya as well. Tiffany, hello as well. Hey, Mike, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. And Ed, you okay? You quarantined for 10 days. You got Rona? Oh, you think you might have Rona. We need you to be strong, man. We need you in there. Hey, Steve Donstead, good to see you. And Ethel from Ohio, you shouldn't have left. Come on back home. We can't wait to have you back here. Uh, hey, Tammy Lowe, Lisa, hello, thank you. Christina, thank you so much. Yvonne, hello, good evening to you. Terry Ann, good to see you. And Krista Lynn, thank you for joining us as well. Uh, hey, Miss Barbara Kaufman. So the Kaufmans are in the House representing. And hey, brother Thomas Smith from the Sons of Allen. Good to see you, sir. Appreciate you, brother Stan. I appreciate that as well. Ray, good evening to you. And Andrea, hey, Andrea, good to see you. Lydia, I'm glad to be somewhere. Glad to see you as well. Alicia, thank you. Hey, and Marissa, Marissa. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I've been really nice. A.B. Whitley, Coastal State Prison loves me. Well, I love Coastal State Prison too. I just wish that um, hopefully it wasn't going to be anybody in Coastal State Prison. We have to get people to live their best lives. And so, we're hoping people get it together. But we love Coastal State Prison. And wow, look at that. Dawn Baker is in here in the house. Got a chance to see the real Dawn Baker in the flesh. I actually touched the hem of her garment. Good to see you, Dawn. Thank you for being on. Hey, Shane, good to see you as well. Linda, good evening to you. Hey, Pastor Thurman Neil Tillman, my friend and my neighbor. Good evening and salutations, Lawanda. Hey, Lawanda. I hope you're taking care of my family. I hope they're doing better. Mardell, you cannot have my microwave. Now, my microwave, I cook with my microwave, and I don't drink coffee. So, Marva, hey, Marva. Hey, Sergeant Billy Gray, thank you for all you do and keeping me safe. And from Norcross, Georgia, Lori is with us. Hey, Lori, thank you for joining us. And Hannah, good to have you as well. Hey, Scott, hey, I hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you around in a minute. Karina, hello, good to see you. See, Nicole is here on time. Yes, thank you, see, Nicole, we appreciate you. Hey, Bryce, thank you for joining us as well. Oh, you came about the oven when you joke about the first person coming in first. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And guess what? Joe Marinelli. And Joe, I need to get you on. I mean, people need to know about the massive efforts that you do, to keep Savannah forward facing. And so, Joe, we're going to have to get you on and to talk with us. Good to see Shirley Spears and my cousin Ann. Thank you for seeing. Hey, and our mayor, my sweetheart, our 65th mayor of the city of Savannah, Edna Branch Jackson is on. So, Madam Mayor, it's always a pleasure to see you. And yes, I am wearing your favorite color, and you know why I'm wearing it. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. Hey, Julia, thank you for joining us. And hey, the other half of the Tillman clan, LaWanda Tillman, thank you for joining. I am doing okay. I am still pressing on. Tammy, thank you. I think you're a great person too. I appreciate that. Mariella, hola, from Panama. I love Panama, and that's actually on my bucket list to go to. So, Mariella, thank you for being with us. Hey, Angie Kelly. Angie Kelly and I go way, way back. Good to see you from New York City. Hope you are dug out. Jeanette, thank you for joining us. Danetta, hey, from Brazelton, all the way up in those mountains. Danetta, glad that you are with us. Monty, hey, Monty, good to see you, brother. Thank you for your well wishes. I appreciate you. Ivania, hello. Lakeisha, hello, good to see you as well. Let's see. Elaine, I'm waving at you, and Joanne says hello. Audra is waving. Hey, Audra. And Catalina, hello, good to see you. Thank you. And wow, it's Nick Palumbo, great alderman from District 4 of our city council. Appreciate and enjoy working with him. So thank you, Nick, for joining us today, tonight. Debbie Williams Walker, Debbie Williams Walker, Debbie Williams Walker. I've said your name 3 times, so we should be good tonight. Lasheen, let you get your car. Not from me, I don't think. Patricia, thank you for praying for me and my team. I appreciate you. We definitely are in need of your prayers. Hey, Michelle, do I ever get rest? I don't get a whole lot. I am trying to do better. Don't say that around Mayor Jackson, because that don't say that kind of stuff. Of course, I get plenty of rest. I sleep 9 hours every night. All right. Michael, I do not think so, but thank you anyway. Tracy, thank you about that. I appreciate that. Tracy and Brian from Melbourne, Florida, glad you're with us. Latassa Mora, I am doing well. Edwina, good evening to you. Bernadette Jackson. Bernadette Jackson. Now, the football season is over, Minister Jackson, and I thought I was looking around. I'll get back to you. Lahoma, thank you so much for joining us. Tammy, Sunshine Tammy, thank you. I hope I'm your only mayor. Hey, Beverly, Yvette, thank you for joining us. Carol, it is Friday. Linda Kelly is checking in with us. And guess what? The ancestors of Mali are with us. That means the Liebermans are in the house. Thank you, Bruce and Marsha. We are glad that you are with us. Daisha, thank you for joining us. And y'all keep Ed Beatty. Ed Beatty, is on with us every Friday night. He is the gatekeeper. He makes sure there's no hateful No hateful comments on here. So let's send some love and well wishes out to our brother Ed. Ed, we hope you get better. Hey, Patricia Richardson. I'm dying. Stephanie, thank you. I appreciate that as well. And yeah, thank you for saying wear your mask, man. COVID is nothing to play with. Um, Brittany Curry, good to see you, Brittany. Appreciate what you doing. And Jason, thank you. Tanya, I know you missed it, but we're glad that you're back. Maggie, hello, thank you for joining us. Um, Mardell, you don't want me to use the stove. Jamal, my double brother, Alpha Phi Alpha and Delta Sigma Pi. Good to see you, brother. Hey, Patrice, thank you for joining us. Um, and okay, so last month you were working. All right, Tanya, we forgive you. Uh, hello, Pamela and A. Hall Houston. Blessings to you as well. Um, and Hillary, thank you for joining us. Zakisha, hello. Lorraine, hello as well. And Tanya, thank you so much. Antonia Hunter, thank you for joining us. Chantel, glad to have you with us. And Alan, ask me that question a little bit later when we get finished. Ruth, thank you very much. Sheila, hello, thank you very much as well. And drink some water. All right, I will. Water. Keisha, Keish, thank you for joining us as well. May, Bonet, good to see you. Barbara, thank you for joining us. And we're going to go ahead and get ready to get kicked off. I'm trying to take care. Belina, I hope you're doing all right. I hope you're okay. All right, we're praying for you. Patricia, hello. Brittany, good to see you, Brittany. Hope all is well with you. Hey, and the Honorable Jeff Booker from Seabright, New Jersey. Thank you so much. Glad to have you on. Erla, we want you to do better as well. Z, thank you. All right, we'll move up quickly, Z, because I know you got to be up at 5 o'clock. And Watkins Sweet Jones says, order your strawberries today. So yes, Tamara, hello. Shantae, hello. Angelo, we could talk about that. Teresa, hello. Vincent, hello. Hey, Sister Barbara Foster. Gloria Wilson, thank you for joining us as well. Ada, when am I coming back to Brooklyn? When it is safe to do so, period. Sharon, thank you so much. Ken Slats, superstar, Ken Slats himself. Good to see you as well. And let us go ahead. Nicole, hey, Nichelle Williams, thank you for joining us. And Carolyn, the mother of Savannah, Diana, thank you for joining us. And so let's go ahead and let's get moving. Ada, you missed me preaching? What was I preaching? We're gonna talk about that in a little bit. Joyce's husband has COVID, so we're gonna keep you in prayers. Hey, Verdell Jones, thank you for joining us. Ada, thank you. Hey, Redbone, I'm supposed to. I owe you a call, okay? And Brooke is is friends with my cousin. All right, Brooke. So that means we cousins too. All right. And Denise, good to see you. And Legally is on as well. And April, good to see you, April, today. And Leslie Cooper, Glam is in the house. And Denise, thank you. And Stephanie, somewhere between here and California. Glad to have you on, Stephanie, as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Elisa, 3 surprises wait for you. Three of them. Carolyn, hello. Hilla, hello. Marjorie, good to see you this week. And Joyce, we'll talk about the hat. Denise says Cleveland in the house. And Brittany is in the house too. T, hello. Thank you so much for joining us as well. And yes, I know I owe you a call about the food truck. I'm working on it. Okay, so let's get it going. Let's get it going. Oh, and I need to send a special shout out to Laura Smith. Live, laugh, love. And I know you're hiding, but I know you're out there, stalking my page. Thank you for joining us. And I just love you. We go way, way, way to the hallway back. Veronica, thank you for joining us, and Sabrina. So, if it's Friday in Savannah, if it's Friday in Savannah during a pandemic, if it's Friday in Savannah during a pandemic and you don't have anywhere you have to be, if it's Friday in Savannah during the pandemic and you don't have somewhere that you have to be, and you're keeping the faith and you're following the science, then you are here with me on a rainy night in Savannah, Georgia. Thank you. It is date night. It is Friday Night Live. Thank you so much for joining me. I am again elated. We are still counting, trying to figure out how many weeks we've been doing this. We're trying to thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate you. We're trying to figure out how many weeks we've been doing this. We've been going on now. I'm thinking 10 months, but we're trying to verify that because we want to. We just been doing it, and we get together every Friday night, and I'm just elated. Okay, well, I have some inspirational words for you, so I'll talk about that at the end. So I mean, I appreciate that. It just means a lot. It keeps us going. We're in this together. Have a great guest on tonight, and I wanted to just say a couple of things. The first thing I want to tell you is that, of course, I am wearing red. Now, of course, Mayor Jackson loves red because that's just her favorite color. But I'm wearing red today because today is National Wear Red Day. And so I have a red shirt. That's why I'm wearing my red shirt. And so I'm wearing my red shirt to show support for awareness of heart disease. The Heart Truth is a national awareness campaign for women about heart disease, sponsored by the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute. And so I'm wearing red to remind women of their number one health threat, which is heart disease. And so I'm standing up and I'm going hard for women today. Women always go hard for us. And so, fellas, we are wearing red. I'm wearing red today, even though my shirt is kind of low loose, but we're wearing red and showing love to remind our ladies about heart disease. And of course, as you know, I am sporting the hat of the day, which I'm getting ready to throw away because I think I've been wearing it every day. And um, and of course, it's the representing. It's me going hard for Savannah. Remember, it is SAV. It's SAV, and then of course it has the Seaport on here, and it has the Peach, and Marissa Bird, who's on here. Actually, and people will see me around the city. Now, I've been wearing this hat. I've had on suits, and I've been representing the hat. So it's out there, and so you get. Well, hold up. Now, Pastor Tillman, I'm not wearing crimson. I'm wearing red. Kappas are great people, but no, I'm wearing red for women for National Red Day. And so, Becky Jones, if you want the cap, I will get you one. Marissa, I'm still waiting on Marissa to get me my other caps and my other colors so I can represent. And she's just being slow about the whole thing. So, well, so Carolyn says don't throw it away because it's now vintage. But I need other colors. I rock all these other colors. So I need to get that. I need to get my other hat. So, but anyway, oh wow, Curtina Pollen is on. Miss Elevate, Elevate Queen herself. We're so glad to have you on, Curtina, as well. So that's what we're doing. I'm wearing red. We're representing for our women. So let's talk a little bit about COVID. Um, let's do just a quick status check about where we are, so that everybody's reminded of the reason um, initially why we even started this, why we started this get together. And the reason why we started this get together was because of COVID, or else everybody would be out living their best lives. And so, want to take an opportunity just to show you where we are today, as we usually do, so everybody is kind of clear on where we are here in Georgia. So in Georgia today, 766,604 confirmed cases of COVID. So we're looking at over 3/4 of a million people in Georgia. Think about that, 3/4 of a million people. Over 13,146 confirmed deaths in Georgia. What are you saying? I'm saying that 13,146 people plus a possible, probable 1,712 people who were here at this time last year are not here now. You think about that. So, you know, 13,146 plus a probable 1,712 people who were here last February the 5th are no longer with us. You think about that when you turn up for Super Bowl weekend this weekend. The best Super Bowl is sitting in your house with people you live with and cooking your own food. Don't have people over your house. You don't know where they're coming from. And then you have food and people double dipping and stuff. That's nasty. I'm just saying. They're using your bathroom. Somebody asked me, "Oh, we can have an event, and we'll social distance and all that." I mean, come on, you got liquor, and then people lose things, and then it becomes an issue. So come on, y'all. We've done so well so far, and so I want you, please watch the Super Bowl. The Atlanta Falcons are not in it anyway, and for me, the New York Giants are not in it anyway. So hey, just stay home on your couch and be safe. Be safe. So let's go down to Chatham County, and in Chatham County, um, we'll talk a little bit about this. Um, Here in Chatham County, we have 16,994 cases. So we are approaching 17,000 confirmed cases here in our county. 304 confirmed deaths with another 14, so possibly 318 deaths here in Chatham County. What are you saying? I'm saying that over 300 people who were here last February the 5th are no longer with us. Think about that during your Super Bowl party. You think about it. You think about, is turning up worth putting yourself and people you care about in that situation? That's what I want you to think about. Now, just because somebody's having a Super Bowl party doesn't mean you have to go. I got invited to two, and I'm like, you must be crazy. I mean, now they can cook, but I'm not going to no Super Bowl for it to be my last Super Bowl. And I'm not going to a Super Bowl party, to be in some Super Bowl super spreader event. I mean, I can't. You can't do it. I mean, you just don't know who else is going to be there, and you just don't know where they're coming from, and you don't know who's been around. And since I've been tested, hey, I get tested all the time, and that's why I'm just gonna just chill out at the house, socially distant, by myself, and watch the game. So, and Dawn Becker got to work, so she'll be at work. So anyway, want to talk about my my guest tonight, and she is certainly no stranger to Friday Night Live. She is someone that we definitely love and respect. She is someone who is really on the front lines of all that we're going through. She is someone that I do not envy. People say, "Boy, you're the mayor of Savannah. Um, I wish that wasn't you." And I'm like, "Well, you could say that, but I wish I wasn't Ann Levette." I mean, you talk about being in a pressure cooker. And yet our superintendent has, as always, handled herself with grace and dignity. And so those are the qualities I look at when I'm looking at someone that is leading. And so, and now she's looking all diva today. I mean, usually she's in her kitchen, but I mean, today she's got it all going on. So you have to unmute, Dr. Levette. Good evening. Good to see you.
Good evening. Good to see you too. Thank you.
You got, so you've been working with somebody, because usually we catch you in the kitchen. I mean, now, got it all up, and working with somebody, because usually we catch you in the kitchen. And see, now I'm here myself, so you got to turn me down on whatever you're listening on.
All right, let me see what I can do here.
Now I'm here myself, so you got to turn me down on whatever you're listening on.
All right.
There we go.
Okay.
Well, we are so happy to have you on. Thank you for always being available and being accessible to explain things that the news may not cover or to give us the real deal as we understand it. We've been through this journey together for quite some time. I think that we both agree that our kids need to be in school. They desperately need to be in school. I think we also agree that our kids are important, but our staff is important as well.
Correct.
And we agree that I think that people need to be back in school when it is safe to do so. And
Mhm.
so, where the CDC says, "Oh, you can open up schools today," I mean, I think that will require kind of an individual assessment of each school system and their ability to be able to assess whether school systems are ready to be able to open. So, welcome, glad to have you, and tell us what your life has been like.
Well, thank you for inviting me and thank you for always being supportive. Um, it's been tough because of the divisive nature of this conversation. I mean, this is the first time in my life as a professional educator that we've had so much division. Everybody has an opinion. You know that as a leader, everybody wants to tell you the best thing to do. And as I said Wednesday, my responsibility is to think about 42,000 people, not 4 people or 6 people or what's good for those 4 or 6 people, but what's good for the greater number of students. It is a very difficult time because the numbers are greater than we want them to be. We have new variants, new strains of the virus, and the vaccine is slow in coming. So we're still hopeful, but it's also February.
Right.
And our young people need some opportunities to get that kind of support that they've been missing. I'm very concerned because so many of them are not responding in the way we need them to respond at this time. So they're not turning in work and they're not logging on. And so I need to reconnect with them. And I think we've done a really good job of keeping things clean and keeping people safe. And I want to have an opportunity to try to serve the children in a safe environment as much as we can. You will notice that we have closed schools when we needed to. We have closed classrooms. We have shut down basketball right now because of the number of cases that we have. But I also want to point out that a lot of those cases are not coming from being in school. They're coming from outside of school. So sometimes people contract the virus and it comes into the building, and that's what we're seeing. I don't think any of us really knows where it comes from, but I can say to you that very often young people, when we trace it back, it's coming from some adult in their home or some adult they've spent a lot of time around, and then they come into the building bringing that. So not blaming, just talking about what the facts are.
Well, and so I know that, and I think from our conversations, you've also said that this virtual learning is not the optimal experience for young people because of the same reasons you're mentioning, but given the necessity, is better than nothing at all, correct?
Correct. And we have a lot of young people now. I want to make sure I'm clear. We have a lot of young people, that's what they like. They like virtual learning, and they are much more adaptable than we think. They're much more resilient than we think, and they have adapted well to virtual learning. But for some, virtual learning is just not a good match, and we know that. But I will also say that some of our parents and family members have been they've stepped up and they've done what they needed to do because they feel that they need to protect children in that way. My own family members have decided that coming having the children come into the school building is not in our family's best interest. So they are staying at home and teaching from home and assisting with virtual learning. So I hear it from all the ends, the family, as well as my colleagues, as well as those in the community. Everybody has an opinion. I respect that. You know that. We all hear it. But in the end, we have to look at the greater good. And so I had hoped that we would, as a community, be in a different place. I'd hope that we would not travel. I'd hope that we would not have parties. I'd hope that we would not be in places without a mask. But that's not what we are doing as a community. So we are where we find ourselves. And so right now, I just would, say to parents, like my family, I suggest you make the decisions that are in your family's best interest. For some families, they feel like they have to have their kids in school, maybe because they're working a number of jobs. For others, it is a matter of, this is what I feel I must have and that you owe it to me. But I will say for the children, we will do our very best to serve them and serve them safely. And also for the staff, we will do our very best to serve alongside them and do it safely.
Okay, so let's just, for purposes of context, give some numbers and then we'll go to some questions. We have, is it 38,000 kids?
But we have now about almost 37,000.
All right, 37,000 kids. How many teachers, staff, school personnel, in-school personnel?
The school district has 5,600 employees. And most of those employees, as you might know, are teachers. So more than 3,200 teachers. Now, that also means that you have secretaries, other classified staff who are working in buildings, administrators who are working in buildings, but the overwhelming majority of our people are working in school buildings.
Okay, which means they can have contact with, well, not only other people, but also kids. It's really not possible to really socially distance.
Well, no, that's not correct. What we've done is we have mapped out our buildings to ensure as much as possible 6 feet distance. So a typical classroom that might hold 30 might in this case only hold 12.
Wow.
So that's why we have said we're not going to have all the kids come back because we would not be able to socially distance. And we are committed to people wearing masks and socially distancing, contactless, water fountains, air filters changed regularly, all of that, so that we can be as safe as possible. One kid on a seat on a bus. So buses that used to carry 72 kids, maybe down to 22.
So a 72 passenger bus to take the same number of kids, we talk about maybe what, 6 buses?
Yes.
6 buses to carry the same kids that one bus would carry.
Right.
So we're spending all day getting
something like that. It just depends.
So what percentage of our students at this point are in the virtual learning situation?
Well, as of today, all of the students are in virtual. Okay. Now, soon, based on the board's vote on Wednesday, students may come for 3 days a week and then 2 days a week on 2 weeks out of the month, they can come for 3 days a week. And then they're on virtual for 2 days a week. And then the other group can come for 3 days a week and then be on virtual 2 days a week. So between a 2-week period, the students will have, more days of in-person instruction.
Okay. Well, and then of course there's this national debate going on, and there are in Chicago and Philadelphia, where there are union contracts, where teachers are refusing to go back to school. I know here there was some situation where teachers were not going to be prioritized for vaccinations. So you're in the middle of that as well.
Correct. And I have the opportunity to talk to my colleague, Dr. Janice Jackson, who is the CEO of Chicago Public Schools, and Dr. Bill Hite, who is the CEO of Philadelphia. I mean, we talk during the week. I happen to be a part of a national group of superintendents, and we talk about what the challenges we face. Yes, those teachers are saying until we're vaccinated, we're not coming back. You have that in the state of Georgia, where people are saying, I don't want to come back because I'm not being vaccinated. Then the CDC comes out and says, oh, well, teachers don't have to be vaccinated to come back to work. Okay, but yesterday you said you thought it was a good idea. And then today you say it's not required. What I say is we're doing we probably have more materials, more rules and guidelines in place than most places, across the city, just to ensure the safety of everyone. But you know what? The bottom line is, it's the individual.
Right.
As an individual, you have to decide you're going to keep your hands washed, wear your mask at all times, and socially distance. You have to decide that as an individual. And that's what we expect people to do.
My last question for real, and then we'll come back. We'll go to questions. I know these folks are throwing questions. So you hear people say Bryan County schools are open, or Effingham schools are open. Private schools here in Chatham County are open. If they can do it, why can't you do it? And what will be your answer to that?
My answer is, it's a difference between 10,000 kids and 36,000. It's a difference between 10 school buildings and 56 school buildings. And the thing about it is, I can't do for 10 and not do for 56.
Right.
The COVID mitigation is a very expensive proposition. Let me be very clear about that. And if I have to change filters in all of my buildings, it takes me almost a month to do it.
Wow.
By the time I get those filters in, guess what?
It's time to go back.
It's time to, right. So when we talk about cases, which we had a big discussion in the board meeting about reporting cases, the way we manage cases is we follow the rules. I can not say whether everybody else follows the rules the way we do it, but I can tell you that we have people who work in our district and live in other districts, and they talk about how those other districts manage their cases. When we have cases, we do contact tracing and we exclude you if we need to. That is not the way everybody else manages. But I also will say it's a difference between how private schools manage and how we manage. There's a difference between my getting thermal non-contact thermometers in every building is different than somebody who has maybe 10, 12 buildings. If I'm going to put it in one building, I need to put it in 56 buildings.
Right. So if there's one thing, and I promise I'm going to have a question, but I always enjoy asking questions. So if there was one thing that you wanted the general public to know, or that we misunderstand, what would that be?
That would be that we are not working to keep children out of school. We want to ensure the safety of staff and students. People say to me all the time, children don't contract COVID. Well, children may not contract COVID, but children don't teach themselves. From the safety crossing guard, to the bus driver, to the person who serves lunches, breakfast, the secretary, all those people are a part of the teaching and learning process. And so if the kids were in the building by themselves, then it'd be great. But
Right.
they're in the building with adults. And those adults have lives and families as well. A lot of our families are also intergenerational. And sometimes we have people who are at risk who are working and living with our young people. We have to be cognizant of that. So we want to serve our children in the best and safest manner. And I feel it's our moral obligation to protect the children and the staff. And I think we've done an incredible job of trying to do that.
Well, Dr. Erica Russell Petty, who is a pediatrician here, says that children do contract COVID and they're hospitalized from COVID. So I'm sure she would know. So let's go to a couple of questions. I know one question was about graduation 2021.
Well, graduation 2021, oh my gosh. So our seniors have said two things they want. They like the curbside graduation, the curbside distribution of caps and gowns, which we will do. I didn't think they would like that, but that's what they like. So we're doing that. That was an awesome experience last year. So we'll have curbside distribution of caps and gowns, and we will also have in-person graduation activities, ceremonies. They will be very different. So limited seating, very spaced out seating. We are going to follow the Savannah State model, contactless tickets and unique tickets. So if I give you a ticket, you can't duplicate it.
Because you know they'll try, right? You know they'll try.
We figured that out. And only a limited number of guests. We will be live streaming,
right?
But we will have in-person activities, and they will be at the Civic Center.
All right. Is there a plan in place to work with kids with IEPs over the summer to make up some of the stuff that was lost?
Yes, we have a plan to work with all students, not just our students with IEPs. And our students with IEPs will probably have extended services for not only summer, but also for the fall. I think we're going to have a multi-year summer experience for students.
Okay. Will rapid testing be available at school buildings if necessary?
We do not have rapid tests in the buildings at this time, but I'm very happy to say that we have rapid testing available to our employees as a priority with Curtis V. Cooper Health Services.
So how long does it actually take if there was a breakout to be able to contract trace it quickly enough to be able to kind of get under control? You have so many people.
So yes, we have a lot of people, but I'm gonna tell you, we have a fantastic work around the clock COVID-19 management group. It includes medical professionals, representatives of the health department, administrators, whoever the department heads are, or whoever the school leaders are, and also our school nurses. What they do is they come together. If we are notified that someone is positive or a contact, then what we do immediately, we have our own contact tracing team. And so today, you may be in school, or today you may be working in your office. But if we find out someone is positive, there is an interview that happens with you, and then we start calling and contacting immediately those who may have been in close contact with you. We can immediately also send you for testing,
right?
If we need to do that.
I've been on a couple of those, got those calls, and it's like, Mr. Johnson, I'm like, what? You were so-and-so. We can't tell. That's what I hate. We can't tell you who you were around
Right.
Because see, I'm getting in my car, get ready to go to their house. And they're like, we can't. And that's why y'all can't have no Super Bowl parties, because they're not going to tell you who it was you were around. They'll just say that somebody gave your name.
That's right.
You know, and that's why I'm not going, yeah, I don't want the health department calling me. That's not right. So our friends from Effingham County says that they heard that UV lights were ineffective with killing viruses. and using them in AC systems. Are you familiar at all with that?
Oh, yes, we're familiar with that. And we also have those tools available to us. So I don't think there's a tool that Mrs. Miller Kegler and her staff haven't identified that we also try to secure to use. We use those in classrooms as well as on our school buses. We definitely have to use them on school buses because, of course, that's the first place that young people are in. We
Right.
also use those basically all day.
Right. Do we know when COVID-19 vaccines will be available for teachers?
No, we don't know that. But let me take this opportunity to talk about how we plan. We started planning with Dr. Davis some weeks ago so that, number one, we would have our own plan in place. We have a licensed physician on staff. We also have our own nurses. You do know we have more than 50 nurses. Some of them have also been vaccinated, so they are ready, but we're also involving them in the training. And we're trying to establish our own pod so that we can vaccinate our own employees. That's a pretty lengthy process. But in the meantime, if those doses are released to us, we have relationships with St. Joseph's, Memorial, Coastal Health District, and Curtis V. Cooper, so that we would be able to get our folks in there first or on a priority basis.
All right. How are we social distancing the children in classrooms and playgrounds and cafeterias during hybrid learning?
So we have a limited number of young people that can be in a classroom. As I stated earlier, in a typical classroom, you're able to have 25, 30. And what we have done, and we demonstrated it last summer, when we remapped all of our classrooms and positioned the furniture in a way that allows maybe 12 kids to be in a classroom. Now, how do you keep them apart? You basically it's an artificial situation. That's why, you can be in the classroom, but you still have to stay in your space.
Now, Dr. Livette.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to go there. I have gone to schools where it was hard to ask kids to put their shirt in their pants or to stay on one side of the hallway or to not hit, not to touch. And so there is this X factor of young people being who they are.
That's right.
And so I remember that you did this pilot at Gadsden, and these were very well-behaved kids. They did everything that, you would expect for them to do. But in the environment of kids being kids, how do you deal with, or even teachers, because this is a little more than classroom management, dealing with the enforcement side of social distancing and mask wearing with the instructional issues of just trying to teach and make sure they get lessons across.
Right. And that's why I would just tell you, it's unnatural to have them in that kind of artificial situation where they are expected to be in a defined space as if, there's nothing else in the world they're going to do except sit in that seat.
Right.
I will tell you that we have an agreement with parents that if they simply cannot manage that situation, they can't be in that environment. And that's very disappointing. But it also is, if you want kids to be in school, there are some things we're going to have to accept. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that all those kids are doing everything they're supposed to do all the time.
Well, they do it when Dr. Livette is around.
They do.
I'll just say it like that.
Right. And I will tell you this, they wash their hands a lot.
Right.
That's what they do. So, but I will say this, the issues have not necessarily been with the children. I have to admit that part of the research, the action research, has borne it out. We haven't had a lot of cases with children, except in athletics. That's where we've seen the most of our action in with children. But for the most part, that's not been the issue. But I expect children to be children. When they go out for recess, they have to do it in a particular way. And but they're just happy to be outside.
Right.
So it's a situation where they're just sucking it up and doing the best they can.
But I don't think that people realize, students or teachers, that back to school in a COVID environment is much different than school as you remembered it in March of 2020. I mean, it's much more restrictive, and and undeservedly so.
Right, and it has to be restrictive. Now, we've seen the pictures and we've seen lots of things where people, they just kind of have at it.
Right.
And people will say to me, "Oh, well, we go to Walmart and we go to Publix and we go to Kroger, but you don't go in there and stay 6 hours."
Right.
I mean, you just don't do that.
And you're on the move.
And
all right,
right.
So suppose a child's mask malfunctions, pops or breaks, will staff be provided with additional masks to provide?
Oh, yes.
In such cases.
Yes, we have a disposable mask that can be used by children or adults. We just want you to wear it and wear it properly over your nose and mouth.
That's the other key, wearing it properly. I got a question about the distribution of Wi-Fi devices. To whom and how will they be distributed?
Parents generally request a Wi-Fi device. So that is our responsibility. Now, in our newest partnership with T-Mobile, they have asked that students who need a device and who are of lower wealth, that they be the priority. But at this point, with almost 6,000 devices, we think we will be able to distribute those. We had quite a number before the T-Mobile partnership, but certainly those students would be the priority.
And I need to do a quick commercial. I forgot. I proclaimed this week as National School Counselors Week. So yes, that was from Monday through today. And so shouts out to all of our school counselors. Thank you for being in the gap. Thank you for being the eyes and ears. So shouts out to all of our school counselors.
Yes,
big ups to you.
We are very excited. And also, let me just, since I could do a commercial, this was also the first week of school choice. So school choice kicked off this week. We had a virtual Student Success Expo. We normally are at the mall, Savannah Mall.
I know, every year I'm there. I mean,
that's right.
I look so forward to it. But
with about 15,000 of our closest friends.
That's right.
We were not able to do that, but we have a virtual expo going on. We had a contest this week. As of last night, one of our schools, all of our schools produced a video. One of our schools had more than 8,000 views.
Wow.
Just one school, and it was an elementary school, but the others had lots of students and parents and community members looking at their videos. So it was a really good activity for families to learn about our schools.
And they can go to your website, seccpss.com.
Correct. You're getting pretty good at this.
Hey, I look at the website often, so I have to admit that. I mean, I don't have any kids, but I want to know what's going on with them. There was actually a good question about, and I lost the question, so I'll have to find it.
I see one question about if you want your child to stay virtual and don't want them to be in person, will they still be on the same schedule as the in-person kids? We're trying not to disrupt the schedules. We may have some disruption, but we're trying to keep the schedules as much as we can the same. We really don't want to do that. We will have to do it in some cases, but for the most part, we're trying to keep the schedules the same.
Thank you, Shabria. Actually reposted Bianca's question. What's the point of returning to in-school learning, but quit sports and change the traditional graduation?
Well, the sports are a different story in that a lot of the first of all, sports is voluntary. So and don't be fooled into thinking that because kids participated in sports last year that they did this year. Lots of parents made different decisions. Some of the young people are also depending on those sports as their ticket to the next level
Right.
for college. So reluctantly, we we participated in sports, but if you notice, we did that in a very different way. We participated in sports with teams that we knew had the same kind of COVID mitigation strategies in place as we did.
Right.
So we did not have wholesale come to Memorial Stadium, thousands of people. We didn't do that. We required masks. We had very limited attendance. So that's what we did. So we still had sports, but it was in a very different way. In-person graduation, there are some things that are happening. Our mayor, as well as our coastal health director, has given us really good advice about if you're going to do it, you must be socially distanced. We saw Savannah State, we saw Georgia Southern host in-person graduations. They were very limited, very different, but nonetheless, it was what the graduates and their parents wanted. Last year, we did a great job, a fabulous job with virtual graduations, because that's what the science said at that time. But this year, we've said to our students, if we can do in person, we will do it, but we will do it in a way that is safe.
Right. What are y'all currently planning for next year, and what does next year look like?
We are currently planning for next year. I do not have a crystal ball. If there's someone online that has one, I would really like to have it.
Me too.
But we are planning for a full year, just like we planned for this year. If things are so that we are able to have students come, we will do that. And that is our hope. But we will continue to have a virtual option for those students that need it. Our e-learning academy has done incredibly well, and we plan to keep that is a permanent school. So for those families that need that option, it is there now.
Will we return to school in person the last week of February?
For students who have opted and wished to, and they indicated in November that they wanted to return for a hybrid, which means 3 days in person and 2 days virtual on alternating weeks. Yes, they have the opportunity to come to the building based on space and based on capacity.
Right. Now, Chantel wanted us to know, and I'm sure she's not counting, but she said that we missed the 100th day of school on Wednesday, and there are only 78 more days to go. So I know she's not counting that, but she just wanted us to know that it was a 100th day of school. So yes, shouts out to our educators. And also Madam Mayor Jackson says hello.
Thank you, Mayor Jackson. She's always supportive.
Yeah, well, I mean, because again, public education is a public responsibility. And so as they say, sometimes I don't have chick nor child. But I'm paying taxes, and actually, I mean, I don't think it's kind of fair in a way, because I mean, I'm paying for kids and I don't have any kids, so therefore I have kids. They all 38,000, all 37,000 are my kids, and so therefore, because I'm paying for all of them, and so I want to make sure that they're
and
safe.
You want to make sure the next mayor is educated well.
I want to make sure somebody's paying my. I want to make sure somebody's paying my Social Security. That's what I need to do.
That's right.
I need somebody to make sure they are employed so that they are taking care of things that we need to take care of.
All right, so here's what I want you to remember.
Okay.
When our graduates leave, we want them to be ready to be gainfully employed.
Absolutely.
Enlisted.
Absolutely.
Or enrolled.
That's right.
Employed, enlisted, or enrolled, or any combination thereof.
But not home sitting on the couch playing Xbox.
No.
We want them to leave with a plan.
That's right. Exactly. That is our job.
My final question, and then we always appreciate you being with us. I know you've had a challenging week, so just to come and be with us. I mean, I think our date night family loves it as well. So I guess the question becomes for us, and I just forgot what the question is. I just forgot. Just that easy.
It's okay.
But it was a good question. I forgot what it was. I forgot.
if you think, I'm just looking here. Um,
Well, educators have access to vaccinations now. The students come back to school. I think we talked about that a little while before.
yeah,
There's
we
no
did talk about
special
that.
grade. Now I know you got the vaccine
I did.
because in as much as you don't look it or act it, you fall into one of the phases.
I sure do. And I want to use this opportunity to do something that we're doing with our staff as well. We are reminding people that if you are a caregiver,
Right.
and we have lots of people who are caregivers, a lot of us live in intergenerational houses, and we take care of parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles. We have caregiving responsibilities. You qualify in this phase. So we want people to know that, so that you're not sitting and waiting. So you take your grandmother or your aunt or your uncle or whomever for whom you are giving care, you take them for their vaccination. If you're a caregiver, you can also be vaccinated.
That's
so we
correct.
want people to know that, although I think that's a piece that doesn't get communicated a lot.
Well, somebody on here knew you from your teaching days, I guess before you became saved. And they said Dr. Levette used to be Savannah's own Principal Joe Clark. So I don't know if you were walking around with a bat or what that's actually all about.
No, I didn't walk around with a bat, but my students understood they were to be in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing.
All right.
And we had more fun at Savannah High than they ever had, because I believed in them and they believed in me. And together we made great things happen.
Yeah, I mean,
that was the high.
And you get to see that now.
And guess what? No one expected us to be excellent, but we knew we could be.
Right.
And I'm very proud of what we were able to do. Not me, but we.
Right.
Dawn Baker's mother was one of the teachers in that building.
Miss Lula. Everybody know Miss Lula did not play.
That's right.
I mean, Miss Lula nice now, but you know Miss Lula did not play.
But I will tell you that they probably said that just because I had high standards, just like I have now. But every one of them rose to those standards.
We're back. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. I thought you stood me up.
No, I mean we were here, and then next thing you know, it just went off. But will hybrid start after we're out of the red zone, or did the board decide to go with it regardless of where we are?
The board decided to go with it where we are, but here's what I will say. And again, I will say to any parent, we have put into place and will continue to put into place good mitigation strategies. I think it's important also to say that students may remain on virtual, you don't have to come into the building. But if you do, understand that you must wear your mask, must social distance, and all the things that we require. There will be no visitors in the building, because our job is to deal with people who are supposed to be in the building.
So mamas and all of them can't come rolling up in the street.
No visitors, no volunteers. We're not doing any of that. Because our responsibility is to the people who are supposed to be in the building. The other thing that's really important is it's especially important that parents have an emergency plan, because if we find that we must exclude students based on positive cases, you don't get to come for 4 or 5 days while you arrange your childcare. Automatically, if we call you tonight, your child is home for the next 10 or 14 days before he or she can return, perhaps. So it's important, if you're on hybrid, to understand that your child still may be on virtual for an extended period of time if we have cases in the building.
Wow. Well, I just want to thank you. I think that people might not have really recognized the importance of teachers, particularly parents, until they had to teach their kids. There are some people, I mean, admittedly, some people didn't know their kids
Yeah,
because they saw their kids at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, and kids on weekends, but didn't necessarily see their kids in a learning environment.
yeah,
And so all of a sudden, they're now in a position where they get to see their kids in a learning environment. And many, either don't like what they see, or surprised by what they see, or can't handle what they see. And so I think it goes back to, and I have visited a couple of schools. I don't think I told you, but I've gone to a couple of them. And just was impressed that here these teachers were closed in their rooms at a computer screen, managing a screen, but still young people.
mhm.
And I mean, again, I know that this cannot be easy. I know it's not the optimal way of going about doing things, but I think we have to teach our children that when life hands you lemons, you make lemonade. You do the best you can. I mean, I don't think we just say, well, no, we're not going to have any school until this is all over. I mean, next month, this will be a year.
Exactly,
March 20th, I think Chatham County had our first case. March 22nd or 23rd, we had our first death. We've been in this for a year.
exactly.
So I just
And
wanted to, and I mean, and you've been riding this the entire time. You haven't had a chance to take off. And I just wanted to thank you for just being you and for caring and, from catching hell from all sides, because either you're doing too little or you're doing too much, you know. So I just appreciate you.
well, I think it's, if I could, we sent we sent our first correspondence out to staff about the coronavirus
Right.
January 29th
Wow.
of last year, because we had people who went to China and they came back, and we sent out a note to everybody about the coronavirus before people even knew what the coronavirus was. When we sent our children home March 13th, they went home with 2 emergency packets for 2 weeks.
Right.
And they did not come back into a building until October 5th.
Right.
When
Good
there are
question.
districts all across the state where students are still not in school.
Right.
So it's a tough call, but I just ask everyone to make the decisions that are in the best interest of your family, but know that I am committed to making sure that staff and students are as safe as possible.
Well, I appreciate you again. I got one more question. And so while I'm doing the question, I want y'all to go ahead and give a bunch of love and thanks and hearts to Dr. Levette. Again, she's one of our Friday night date night people. The question was, why don't you allow the teachers who are unable to return in person to be 100% virtual, for the parents who want virtual, and the teachers who can be in the building be 100% in person for the parents who want their children to return?
So that sounds wonderful, but right now there's an imbalance. I have 140 people who are virtual based on an exemption. See, it all sounds real easy to the person who doesn't have to make it work. But this school district took an unprecedented approach in the fall.
Right.
If you wanted to work from home, you could, and lots of people did. Some people did just what they were supposed to do. As you know, some people didn't. So January 4th, you had to be back in the building unless there was a medical exemption. There are people who have a medical exemption and will be teaching virtually, but it's not an even split. So that sounds wonderful, but that's not possible at this time. If it were possible, I would make it happen, but it's not possible at this point.
Well, again, you have been doing the very best you could, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for all that you do, and appreciate you for just caring enough. I mean, you didn't sign up for this. I mean, I'm sure that when you came back to our system as an assistant and became the superintendent, on the job description, it didn't say manager pandemic.
It did not, or hurricanes, or anything else. But here's what I said Wednesday, and I'll say it again. When I grew up in this system, I did not necessarily get, my parents paid the full taxes, but we did not get our full share.
Right.
But guess what? I can't do anything about that. But what I can do is I can do the very best I can for all the students, not just the ones that may have more resources, but for all the students so that they have an opportunity to thrive and take care of themselves and their families when they get older. That's my commitment. I see it as a moral commitment. I appreciate that people have differing opinions, but I also say that the devil is in the details.
Right.
And if you just trust that I am operating in that vein, then I think you will see that that's what we're doing. I appreciate you, Mr. Mayor, for your leadership. I know it's very difficult for you as well. I appreciate the partnership we have because we love the people for whom we work, and we will do whatever we can to make sure that we're all on the other side of this.
Well, I'm glad you take my phone calls when I call. So you just keep doing that. All right. I'm glad. Just let them know when I'm calling because I'm probably stressed out, and then you make me feel better. So I appreciate you for that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to explain where we are and welcome the opportunity to come anytime.
Well, good. You let me know when you want to, and I'll call you as well.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Okay.
And so that was Dr. Ann Levette, and we want to thank her so much for being with us tonight. And then I guess I'll close. Someone asked, and so they asked for a word of inspiration. So here it is. And it was something that I dealt with. It was this week. Somebody was actually getting on my last nerve, and some days. And I don't know if you know that there are people sometimes who just work your last ever loving nerve. And now, mind you, I've gotten older and I've gotten wiser. And so now I have really learned how to let stuff, slide off my back, which is why, when you see people who do and say all types of crap about me or, engaging me in, all the different kind of ways, it doesn't really bother me because again, a couple of things. Their opinion of me is none of my business. And then secondly, you just kind of learn that, people are entitled to think what they want to think. But this week was a little bit different. And it was getting under my skin. And I don't know whether that was I don't know the reason, but I don't know, maybe because I was just tired of what the reason was, but it was just getting under my skin. And so, and my mind went to this, and maybe this will help somebody today. And it was a scripture, and I think I saw Pastor Sills on here. It was somewhere, maybe in Ezra, in the 4th chapter, where it says that they hired agents, they bribed officials to work against them and to frustrate their purpose or frustrate their plans during this entire reign of King Cyrus of Persia. And so I recognize, and maybe you should recognize too, that there are agents, there are people who have been bribed either through money or through influence, or just bribed, just enlisted to be able to frustrate you and be able to frustrate your purpose. And so you just have to understand that. You have to understand that there are people whose job is it to try to frustrate your purpose, to get you off track, to get you from keeping the main thing the main thing. There are people whose responsibility is to get you looking over here when you should be looking there. There are people who wake up every morning who have nothing better else to do in their life than to worry about what it is that you're doing. There are people, some are sent, some just went, but there are people there who that is their purpose. And if you had no purpose, then they would not have been bribed or sent to frustrate your purpose. If you were not moving forward in that direction, if you were already looking to the left or looking to the right, if you were not already moving in a positive direction, then they would have nothing to do because you're already in the direction that you're supposed to be. Some people's purpose is to try to cause you hell. That's their purpose. And you know what? You need them. You need them because sometimes, because they are pushing against you, it helps keep you focused on where it is you need to be. And so for me, and that was for Elena, who had mentioned this earlier, but for me, you know, it doesn't happen often, but it happened way earlier this week. And I had to be reminded that there were people who were sent, people who are hired, people who are enlisted. Their goal, their purpose, their mission is to discourage me. Their mission, their goal, their purpose is to redirect me. Their mission, their purpose, their goal is to get my eyes off of the main thing, to get me to major in minor things instead of majoring in major things. And I suspect the same thing is in place for you. You think real hard. There are people, you think real hard. And if you can't think of anybody, I subscribe that you're probably not doing enough. But if you think real hard, you could think of 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes a gang of people. You haven't done nothing to them. You don't bother them, but they always got your name in their mouth. And it seems like all they have to do. And so again, I don't want to be too spiritual, but I think it was Ezra, Ezra. I think it's the 4th chapter. I think it's the 5th verse. But it says that they bribed officials. They hired agents to be able to work against them and to frustrate their purpose or to discourage them off of their purpose. So I'm just saying, you have to stay focused. You have to stay motivated. Things will happen because sometimes it's not people, it can be things that happen. You have got to stay focused because the purpose of those things happening, and then sometimes it can be with your kids, it could be with your spouse or your significant other, it could be in your car accident, it could be something happening in your house, it could be something happening in your job, because the purpose is to frustrate you and to keep you off of your purpose. It might have been COVID to frustrate you, to keep you off your purpose. But you're going to keep the main thing. You're going to keep the eye on the ball. And just because you don't say nothing doesn't mean you don't notice. Because you recognize when you see them, you smile because I recognize you for what your purpose is. And you have got to do your job. And I've got to do mine. I'm reminded when I was growing up and some of you are not old enough to remember that there was a cartoon. We used to watch cartoons, like a real cartoon. That there was a Looney Tunes that had Ralph the Coyote and Sam the Sheepdog. And y'all remember that? Ralph the Coyote and Sam the Sheepdog. And the cartoon was really simple, but it really played a point to me later on in life. So one was Sam and one was Ralph. I think Sam was the sheepdog and Ralph was a coyote. And so they would come to work in the morning and they would both clock in. They would say, good morning Sam, good morning, Ralph. And then I'm gonna find this because when I find it, I'm gonna post it. But the purpose of Ralph the Coyote was to be able to get the sheep. Sam the sheepdog's job was to stop Ralph from going after the sheep. So Ralph the coyote will go in hard trying to get the sheep. And Sam the sheepdog will go hard after Ralph to stop Ralph from getting the sheep. And when the horn blew for lunchtime, then Ralph and Sam would then sit down together and have lunch. And when lunch was over, then they would go back to their job with Ralph trying to get the sheep and Sam trying to stop Ralph from getting the sheep. And then at the end of the day, they would clock out and they would say, good night, Sam, and say, good night, Ralph. And so the point of that was that it was not personal, it was business. Sam had a job to do, and Ralph had a job to do, but it wasn't personal, which is why you can't hate them, because it's not personal, it's business. They're doing their job. That's why when you see them, you speak to them. You love the hell out of them because they're just doing their job. They're doing what they were bribed to do. They were doing what they were hired to do. They were doing what they were enlisted to do, which is to frustrate you and get you off of your purpose. They just doing their job. Don't be mad at them. And nothing makes them madder than when you can turn around and smile at them and still say, good morning, Sam. Good morning, Ralph. Because I see you for who you are. And I know you're only doing your job. And I'm not mad at you for doing your job because we all have jobs to do. My job is to win. And my job is for you to go back to wherever you came from and say that this mission was not successful. So as we go through this week, I want you to be like Ralph and be like Sam. I want you to do your job. Stay on your purpose. Be great. Do great things. Keep majoring in those major things and leave the minor things to somebody else. Stay focused, stay forward, and let the haters do their job. Because that's their job. Not saying they're demons. I'm just saying that sometimes, they just got assignments. They don't mean to have an assignment. They just got the assignment. And so we just want you to stay on your job. They on their job, messing with you all this time. So you do your job and you keep succeeding. I'm feeling a little bit better all right now. You keep succeeding. So I didn't mean to go there. I promise you I didn't mean to go there. But you asked what I was thinking about, and that is what I learned this week. That there are people hired. They got to do their job. And it's my job that I'm going to keep doing the right thing. It's going to be my job to get ready, because I see finally Chloe Reno finally came on. Y'all know we planned her wedding last week, and she thought she wasn't going to come on here. Dr. Levette, you have a job to do. And your detractors and haters, they got a job to do too. Let them do their job. Keep the main thing the main thing. Keep our 38,000 kids and our 5,000 staff members, the main thing, keep it the main thing. We can do it. So that's what I wanted to say. So y'all put me there, and now I'm feeling a little bit better than I was feeling a minute ago. That's why I need y'all. I need y'all, because y'all help me remember and keep the main thing, the main thing. So appreciate you all. Always a pleasure being with you, hanging out with you. And we went over the time, but we want to give Dr. Levette all the time that she needed, and it's just always great to have her on. I just appreciate that she, thinks enough of us and thinks enough of our Friday night. Because some people, you can't even reach them after Friday night. You can't even reach them. But I'm glad that Dr. Levette thinks enough of us is enough of a community servant that she thinks enough of us to spend time with us. So that's all I got to say. Love you. There's nothing you could do about it. And for those haters that are on here watching in, I love you too. Ain't nothing you could do about it. And I'm going to love the hell out of you. Good night. God bless you. And we have no motivational Monday. No motivational Monday this Monday. No motivational Monday. But we have one coming up the following week. So God bless you all. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us for Friday Night Live. See you next week.